Good morning, students. Today I am considering the topic of disinvestment of PSUs. In my previous presentations, I have talked about New Industrial Policy 1991. This is a topic which is associated with that, so I am continuing with the topic now. This is part 1 of disinvestment of PSUs. This part talks about the meaning, the concept of disinvestment, the background story behind it, and the basic facets related to that, as in here the progress of the disinvestment of PSUs has been considered, and how these investment procedures have been actually executed, the procedures which were involved, these have also been discussed in this particular presentation. The background story talks about the Indian economic scenario of 1980s till 1992, which were embraced by massive fiscal deficits, and the India was almost on the verge of bankruptcy. At that time, it was a period during which the planning initiatives also talked about they also talked about that importance should be given to the PSUs, and the why they were being given importance. The reason was that because these PSUs, they have their immense contribution in capital formation, and because of the government undertaking, because these represented the government undertakings, because the government was having a stake in them, because these represented the major investments in iron and steels, chemical and drugs, fertilizers, heavy engineering products, so petroleum, and these were the industries which are not favored by private sector enterprises. Why? The reason was that because in short run they were not reaping out huge benefits. So and it was also analyzed that the PSUs can and also ensure the other objectives, like they can ensure the employment levels in the economy. Moreover, this partial distribution of the lopsided distribution of national income could be stopped if the government undertakings are promoted. So even the planning initiatives, they also emphasize the role of PSUs in the after post independence era. It was in 1991, it was observed that 236 operating PSUs, out of the 236 operating public sector enterprises, one almost half were profit making. So it was observed at this time that the public sector enterprises were yielding losses. It was also noticed that top profit making PSUs were responsible for 80% of the profits. The return on public sector enterprises for the year 1990 to 1991 was just over 2%. So it was analyzed at this time that these PSUs were actually registering a substantial loss, and they were not reaping out the benefits which they should which they should ensure. It was observed at this time that investments in public sector enterprises were rising because government planning initiatives, the planners, the policy makers, they were emphasizing more and more on these investments, but it was observed that the returns were low at that time. It was New Industrial Policy 1991, which I discussed in my previous presentation. It was noted at that time that PSUs, they have shown a low return, and they are showing the losses on the investments, and thus New Industrial Policy advocated disinvestment and privatization of PSUs. Why it was being advocated? Because it was said that they are not yielding the benefits, there is a low rate of return, there is a observance of the losses, and the contribution towards national savings and capital formation was declining. Poor capacity utilization was also there in their case. There was the people were massive overstuffing was there, people were employed there, and there was inordinate delays, the files, the procedures, it took time to take decision, and there was massive bulk passing at that time, which was leading to inordinate delays. So on account of these, it was analyzed that the PSUs were not proving themselves to an asset of for the economy. They were larger a liability on the economy, and the government as well. At first, what is disinvestment? I would like to tell you. Here, we analyze that disinvestment is actually a process wherein the public sector undertakings, they reduce their portion in equity by disposing of their shareholding. Means what they do here, the public sector enterprises, they sell their shares to the private undertakings or to the general public, and there is a dilution of control of by the government here. Why? Because they are losing their equity shares and they are losing their main control over the enterprise here. So it may happen that they see there are two things involved. I'll be talking about this in the next in the next slides, that there is a procedure which is involved. The government may sell out its shares and still may maintain the overall ownership, and it may also happen that government, by selling its shares, may lose the control over the particular enterprise. So both the possibilities are there. What are those possibilities? I'll be discussing in the next slide. The disinvestment, basically it reduces the government participation in the company. The motive is to give the enterprise in the hands of the private fund owners, because they have funds at their disposal and they may be able to revive the units which the government is not able to. So they may have they have their own management, they have their own expertise, they have their own skills. So if the government undertakings are taken care of by the private sector enterprises, there was every probability that these enterprises could revive. So as I told you in the previous slide, I'll be telling you the meaning of privatization and disinvestment. This investment, on one hand, it represents the it is a wider concept which involves the transfer of management. It may involve that the government may retain control over the organization, and it may involve that the government may transfer the management and control over to the private sector. If the disinvestment is beyond 50%, say 51%, 52%, then there is a transfer of control and the management by the government to the private sector. Total control is in the hands of private sector then. But if it is below 50%, then the government continues to have a major stake in the undertaking. It means that if the share is less than 50%, then the government continues to be the owner, as it is quite obvious, because if the government is retaining control over it, if it is having if it is not diluting its control, then it will continue to be the owner of this particular enterprise and it will be managing the particular entity on its own. However, if the investment is more than 50%, 51% by the private sector enterprises, so they have their control over the management and the control and they control the entire business of the concern which they have taken over. Privatization, on the other hand, it again, I have already told you that it implies change in the ownership and there is a change in the management and control of the entity. It is said to exist when the government sells more than 51% of its ownership title to the private entrepreneurs, as I have already told you. The process of disinvestment, here we'll be talking about the formation of the committees and the contribution. In 1991, the new industrial policy, it advocated the disinvestment of PSUs. The two committees were formed for the person. One was Krishnamurthy Committee in 1991 and the second one was Rangarajan Committee in 1992. The committees, they recommended disinvestment again on the following grounds, because they were of opinion that if disinvestment is done, the private sector would be in a better position to strengthen R&D, and it will help in the expansionary policies and all it will the major objective was to mitigate the fiscal deficit of the government, as the government was running into losses. Fiscal deficit is a deficit, means it refers to a phenomena wherein the total revenue of the government falls short of the total expenditure. The government is incurring more expenditure and it is receiving lesser revenue. So the purpose was that whatever sales proceeds we would be recovering through these entities will be utilizing those sales proceeds towards mitigation of fiscal deficit of the governments, and it will be helpful in reviving the economy. But the problem was that these committees, they told that whatever decisions are being taken up, they are being taken up for short term, and however there is a distinction between short term and long term goals for this purpose. And they advise the government not to sacrifice long term loans for the sake of fulfilling the short run objectives. So it basically talked about mitigating fiscal deficits. If the motive was that mitigation of fiscal deficit, it should be there, but the more and more policies and procedures should be executed in order to ensure its a consolidation, and its so that it actually reaps out benefits for the economy. So much work was required in this particular policy. It was suggested by these committees. However, in 1996, the government constituted a 5-member PSU, Public Sector Disinvestment Commission, under the chairmanship of G.K. Ramakrishna, so that the focus is not only on the short run, but it is on the long run disinvestment program for PSUs. The committee submitted its report. Out of the 70 enterprises, the committee submitted its report for 58 enterprises, and told and suggested the company, the government, to go for strategic sales. This committee also was abolished in 1999. In 2001, the government reconstituted this investment commission under the chairmanship of R.H. Patil. The government here decided to refer all the non-strategic PSUs and the subsidiaries, including India Land Corporation, ONGC, GAIL, to the commission for the independence, independent advice. As far as disinvestment procedures were concerned, out of 222 state level public sector enterprises, those which were identified for disinvestment, the process was initiated for 124 enterprises. Out of these, 30 were privatized. Actually, there was a total management and control. It went in the hands of the private owners, and unfortunately, those units which the government was not able to revive were considered sick units, and those sick units were they were unable to shut down, and they were closed down ultimately. The reason of low proportion of disinvestment proceeds against the targets were unfavorable market conditions. Bureaucracy was still was still inbuilt in the PSUs. Despite of the efforts, despite of the procedures that were being executed, despite of it, the bureaucratic procedures, inordinate delays, massive lengthy procedures were there in the PSUs, which were acting as impediments in the path of revival of PSUs. And the government was also not transparent about its procedure of privatization. It was merely carrying out the entire procedure in a haphazard manner, in a hassle and in a hasty manner. Rather, the procedure should have been taken care of in a much in a much systematic and precise manner, which was lacking at this time. And on account of this, the entire procedure of this investment was not proving out fruitful for the Indian economy, and it lagged behind the major objective for which it was formulated. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation. In the next presentation, I'll be talking about the merits and demerits of disinvestment.